Mike, how we doing tonight?
It is a great day in 2026, Frank.
That's right, 2026.
First episode of the year.
You know what's interesting? Like years ago when I was still like writing stuff down, like checks and stuff like that, and I would always forget to...
The new year?
Yeah.
Writing down?
We don't have to do that shit anymore. Technology.
You don't have to forget?
No, I don't have to forget. I could just forget altogether.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. Oh, man. We are here. It is... what is it? The first week of 2026. It's raining outside here in Arizona, which is like a snow day for us. It's a beautiful day.
Yeah, it is a beautiful day.
Yep.
We're getting weather.
So, how are the holidays?
Holidays are really nice.
Good.
Nice
me too.
and, I love when they come and I love when they go.
Yep.
You know.
Kayla and I were talking about that. It's funny watching, the craziness of the holidays pass.
Yeah.
And then you start to appreciate the slow days during the year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's
kind of like we, Karen likes to decorate the house. She doesn't go too crazy, but it's nice. And all of a sudden you take everything out and the place looks empty. And she's like, we should put pictures up here. I'm like, oh, leave it alone. In a week it'll look fine. Like, stop trying to, because the Christmas time or whatever holiday you celebrate, it creates somewhat of clutter in the house.
Like, oh yeah,
like just let it go. It's gonna be good.
There's something nice about getting rid of it. Starting the new year fresh. I love the momentum that a new year brings, and I feel like that's really what 2026. I'm feeling a lot of. Yeah, entering this new year.
Yeah, and how you come to it and say that, it actually is how it will dictate out for you, no matter what happens, because we don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. But there are cycles that, like I mentioned earlier, the 21st of December is the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year. The sun actually stops heading south. This happens every damn year.
Yep.
Doesn't matter. Now,
no getting around that.
Like, what's the weather like? What's on TV? Like, we don't know. We don't know what's on every year, but that's the change. That's where the understanding of the openness of life comes in. It's like, yeah, there's things you could count on, and there's things you should just be completely open to, because you're not just floating out in the atmosphere completely naked, but you're going into this thing, and that's how life. When you start to living life in that place, you don't worry. You actually don't even think about worrying. You don't even think. You just kind of respond and get pulled to in action. You actually lighten yourself up to have enough energy to do what people could see a lot of things. Like, that person's very well put together, or look what they accomplished. But we weren't doing it for the accomplishment. Because when I, years ago, would do stuff to get something, like an acquisition or a condition, it fucking failed me every time. For a short period of time it worked out, but then it didn't. I'm like, well, this didn't happen. But when I started learning to do things for the sake of doing it, like, why are you doing it? I'm like, I don't know, I'm drawn to it. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a consequence, and the consequence isn't just negative. It's, it's going to be something that comes out of it. But that's not why I'm doing it. And something always comes out of it that's like, oh, that's interesting. Like, you meditate, I'm like, oh, I'm relaxed. But I wasn't meditating anymore to relax. I was meditating just because everyone in the room was meditating. It's like,
right.
What the hell?
I love that. I like how you brought up the no thought, because that's really been that's a major goal for me this year, is to get out of the thinking mind and allow that space. Because what I've realized, is it is the constant thought that makes us burnt out, that makes us tired, that makes us depressed, that makes us compare, that makes us judge. Yeah. All of the above. It's that voice saying, this could be done better. Well, what if this happens? Well, don't you remember when this, occurred? You don't want that to happen again. Yep. It's that constant pitter-patter, that monkey mind. And the idea that we have to think has been ingrained in us since we were young kids. Aren't you, are you not thinking, Yeah. Think about it. Like, all that type of stuff. And we weren't designed to think. And that's been the reason for so much suffering.
Yeah, and let's clarify that, because the word think, people are like, what do you mean? Like, we were meant to have a thought come in, and we either act on it or we don't. Or there's going to be some action. You either take it or you don't. You go with it or don't. But you don't think about it. Should I not? Because that just... we know this now into biology. When you start to think about something, should I make a left? Should I make a right? Should I go here? Should I go there? You actually start to burn up most of your glucose in your brain. So it's kind of like... it's inefficient way to live. But a thought pops in, you act on it, move in it. And as you get better at this, better is a word, or greater at this, when thoughts come in, you will act on them to the best of your ability in that direction. You'll tend not to shy and say, no, I don't want to do this. I'm not ready for it. And if you do that, that's fine because you're not thinking about it. You're like, nope, well, let me go this way.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not like in this purgatory aspect of thinking, I should have done this. I'm like, you can't should have done something. That time has passed.
That's why we're all so tired.
Yeah. So we were meant to have thoughts based on the frequency where we are, because usually if you're in a frequency, a thought's going to come in that match it, called synchronicity or whatever you want to call it. You're in the flow. Well, why wouldn't you say yes to it? To whatever degree, But what happens is we say yes to it, then we inflate like this big thing, and it scares the hell out of us, and we drop out.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens. I'm like, no, a thought will not enter into your field unless it knows you're ready to take the next step. But we hype it up like, God, I've never been here before. I'm like, well, no one's ever been here before.
Mm-hmm.
So the way I find it's kind of like it's simple, but yet can be tricky, and how to quiet the mind in a you can't really get rid of thought, but you can quiet it down, is by not identifying to anything, having very little, if any, preference. But know this, when it comes down to eat something, there'll be a preference for pizza over the hamburger. That's not what I'm talking about. You're not like, I only eat pizza. So it's not a strong one. But there's going to be a moment where there is a choice can be made, and you're going to prefer this one. But next time you might get the hamburger. Mm-hmm. But you don't sit around thinking about it like, I don't think about eating a hamburger at 10 o'clock in the morning for 12 o'clock, 2 hours prior. I don't think about that. I might think about I have to go out to lunch, and boom, put it into my imagination, but I'm not thinking about it. It's kind of a process that comes out of the right side of the brain. Where thinking is like, man, I shouldn't be eating hamburgers, and I only live once, and now it's like, now you're eating a salad for lunch. You talk yourself out of a hamburger.
I think it's important too for especially those listening, like as we bring in a new year, to have a sense of clarity. I read something, I forgot when this was, I think it was a couple days ago. It was somebody explaining that they were using it as an analogy. And they're saying you don't go into a coffee shop and go up to the barista and say, hey, give me anything but black coffee. They're going to look at you like, well, what do you want?
Yeah.
Anything but black coffee, or I want coffee, but I don't want it to be black. Well, okay.
Yeah.
What do you want? And that's how most of us wander and get lost in life.
No direction.
Yeah, zero direction, and we only talk about we don't want.
Yeah.
I don't want to feel like crap.
Yeah.
Well, now you're putting your attention on feeling like crap. I don't want to feel, stressed. Now we're putting our attention.
Yeah.
It's a constant focus and clarity on what we don't want and not what we do want.
Yeah.
And we wander through life that way. And I thought that was so powerful. Especially as we head into a new year.
And even look into what is it that you want. Usually what you want, you're being pulled to if you're in a certain state. Because want could come from two different places. Want could come from lack, which I want that because my friend has it, and he looks like he has a good life, and if I have that, it'll make me look like I have a good life. That's never going to get you anywhere. It's not. But then it seems like you want because you're being drawn to it. That's a completely different thing. But now you don't know why you want it. But being drawn to it, the experience is going to unfold.
Yeah.
So is there something wrong going into coffee shop and saying, give me something, you choose, but it can't be black coffee. Yeah. But then you have to be okay with whatever they give you, right? But you can narrow it down. You can do all that stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. But where does the idea of want come from? Is it from us or is it from the outside world? All right? So you want to declare that, because I've never met a human being that's never wanted to experience something. And it wasn't always out of lack, But sometimes is the want from, if I have this, I'll be happy. I'm like, no, there's no guarantee. Nothing will make you happy. Certain things will make you more comfortable or uncomfortable. It doesn't, sitting in a hot tub is comfortable, sitting in a cold plunge isn't. But the cold plunge makes the hot tub
feel that much
delightful.
better.
Yeah, oh yeah, you can't. Yeah, you sit in the cold plunge looking at the hot tub. I can't wait to get in there.
Yeah, I'm ready for
But
that.
then you sit in the hot tub long enough. I'm like, hey,
Cold plunge looks kinda
the
nice.
hot tub feeling goes away. Like it's not
Mm-hmm.
after a couple of minutes being in a hot tub. Now you're in a warm water because your body gets used to the heat. But go back in that cold plunge, you regain that. So those things in the dualistic world we live in, they come and go. What goes up must come down. What I'm suggesting is going within and start doing self-inquiry into the field of understanding what non-duality is. It doesn't mean you don't play in this game. You're just not attached to it. You have no identification in this. You're not identifying closely. Like I was telling you earlier, like I could go to church, I can go to a Catholic church every Sunday, but it doesn't mean I identify as a Catholic in the way people think so. I could hang out with a cult leader, but it doesn't mean I'm part of that cult because I don't identify. People around me might not know that, but I know it. I could take it or leave it and come and go. But I'm not like, I don't associate with this, I don't associate with that. Now you're actually putting yourself in a cave. Now you're associating with, sitting in a cave by yourself. And I'm like,
It's a paradox.
It's a big paradox. It's a dilemma is really what it is. And most of my life was a dilemma. Like my wife would open my mouth and she's like, you're a dilemma. I'm like, yeah, I kind of do.
You're a dilemma.
Yeah. And you start to realize that, but it's like, yeah, there's something when we go inside, like, okay, free yourself up, right? Like take a couple of breaths in and just relax the mind. It could take 30 seconds. I walk people to this all the time, and I time it's about 30 seconds. And all of a sudden, like, how do you feel? I feel good. Like, all I did was have your left brain do something while you're sitting here. Like, if you gave a dog a bone, it would stop running around the house eating up the cushions. So now you're learning to quiet the left brain down by giving it something. All of a sudden, your energy starts to go up, and all of a sudden, you're drawn to go do stuff. Not because it's a want, but you want to go towards it. Go towards it and see what happens. But don't try to get something out of it. How much money am I going to get from this? Who's going to like me from this? Just like a kid didn't go to the playground to boost his immune system or find his best friend. But those are the consequences or the effects of it.
And I know that's true. I've realized that throughout the years of what I do, I work on commission. My job is that. I never count a check or know an amount or try to figure it out, and the money always shows up.
Yeah.
And it's always
But
there.
we were taught to do that. So we were taught to, like, I'm doing this because it makes a lot of money. And I'm like, is that really why you're doing it? Or were you drawn to it? There's some other, and the thing is, it could take a lifetime to find out the meaning, because every time you come up with a meaning, every reasoning I come up with has another element to add to it. And I'm like, I'm never going to be at the end of this.
That's how the story goes.
Oh,
man.
it just continues, yeah. And that's the beauty of it. But there's a point where you could just completely disassociate or disidentify, not disassociate. You could still associate, because we do associate. I don't want to look like a lunatic off in the cave dwelling somewhere saying, you're all fools out there. And I'm like, oh, they look like they're having fun out there, you know what I'm saying? Maybe I'll go dance with them. But I'm not joining the club in deep in, and that keeps me lighter, because I'm not. And this is where guilt comes from. This is where the idea of, I have to do stuff. I'm drawn to do it. Why? Because the guilt of, if I don't do this, if I don't call this friend every so often, and all of a sudden now you don't want friends. I'm like, no. Like, you'd still be friends with people, but the obligation, get rid of obligation. Yeah. Why don't you want to hang out with these people? Usually is because the energy of obligation makes me too tired to want to go to the party. Have no obligation to go to the party. Whether you go or not, doesn't matter. All of a sudden, your energy arrives, and guess what? You're going to want to go to the party most of the time, unless something else is drawing you. You're not going to sit on the couch and sulk, I'll tell you that. So you won't be lazy in the way we even look at lazy. You're actually going to have energy to want to do things. You could start a company, you could start a business, you could start a band, you could start anything, because you're freeing yourself up to be free, but you're not starting a band to become famous or make money. You're doing it because I want to see what's going to happen. Like, you're going to do an experience soon that's putting you, what's in an egg or something?
Oh, yeah. That was a gift Kayla got me for Christmas. Was it's I wish I had my phone or something to show it what this was, but it's like, so it's this egg that you get inside, and it is light therapy, sound therapy, People like they'll bring animals in there when they're sick. They'll go in there,
Okay.
and it's like, oh, I don't know if you're like laying in like water or what it is, but it's a light sound therapy.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yep, is what it is.
Oh, but it's not like the deprivation tanks.
I don't know. See, that's
Right.
the thing. I haven't like looked
Right.
at it enough.
Okay. But the cool thing about it is,
I've been in those deprivation tanks several times.
Yeah, because you don't know enough about it, you'll like, see what happens.
That's kind of it. You know, I got it and I was like, okay, cool. Let's see what this opens up. Let's see what this brings out. It's a way to clear the field too.
Yeah.
They talk about that.
Yeah, but the thing is, what does that even mean? Like, you'll find out. You'll find out the results of it. But don't like go in, because I remember like I would do a lot of these retreats and stuff like that, and I'm like have an intention. I'm like I don't want an intention. Not all the time I want to have something intended to. But then I remember some guy was saying, have an intention. I was doing the ayahuasca, and then it's like, oh, you got the intention. Now let go of the intention because it might not happen. I'm like, well, why do it first like that? Like, why don't we just start there? Like, why are you messing with me right now?
He actually said that.
Yeah. Now just let go of the intention.
But he said because it might not happen.
Yeah, like, it might not happen. Because the ayahuasca will take you where you need to go. I'm like, oh, that's just weird. Maybe a test like my psychic abilities give me attention and that actually happens. Who knows? Like, I don't go down those rabbit holes, but they're fun to do. But now when I do stuff, I'm drawn to it, and people are like, what are you trying to get out of this stuff? I'm like, years ago I tried to get stuff out of it. I don't try anymore. I'm like drawn to go do it. I don't know what's going to come out of it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And the more you build something up in your head, and this is what I'm gonna do, this, that, you're back stuck in this box that we've always been stuck in our entire lives.
Because people do this, like, especially, it's almost worse in the spiritual realm, in the spiritual world. People like, I've been to many meditation retreats, this and that. I'm going to do this last one, but this better work. And I'm like, what do you mean work? How does a meditation work or not work? And they're trying to look for something. They're trying to find some everlasting idea. And I'm like, well, in the three-dimensional world, there's no everlasting anything. Everything is constantly changing and shifting.
Fleeting.
Yeah, it's ever fleeting. The 21st of December of 25 is going to be different than the 21st of December of 26. The sun's still going to drop, stop moving south, and it's going to start its journey again on the 25th and rise again. That's going to happen. But the circumstances around it on this planet are going to be different. If you're living in Michigan, if you're outside, you're going to probably be wearing a coat and a hat. It's like Arizona, you don't know. It could be hot, it could be cold. It doesn't matter. But we can't predict those. But we didn't come here to predict things. We came here to go into the unknown. But there are stabilities in our life. We know the gravity keeps us on the ground. We don't have to think about that. We know the sun's going to rise at this time every day if you're, keeping track of it. We know that's going to happen. Whether the clouds are out, the sun still had risen. And then on the 21st of June, the summer solstice. That always happens. I could hang my hat on that. But I want to explore these things without that, and I have to let go of the identification, and that is the ego. So stop searching for the thing that's making you do all these things. It doesn't exist. It's an imaginary thought in your head. So everyone's like, I got to do this, I got to do this. Well, you don't got to do anything.
You should share that Rupert Spira story.
Yeah, so I heard this, I think it was this morning, and I'm just going to run through the story. And Rupert Spira brought this up, and he was making it a point about someone trying to find something. And the story is about a servant that was working for this man for many, many years. He's older now, and he hasn't really run into the guy. And the guy lives in a mansion. So every day the guy gets up like 5 o'clock in the morning and goes and, cleans the house and gets everything ready and, goes by his door and drops something off and leaves. But he never runs into the guy. And after doing this several years, he's getting quite frustrated. One day he's at the bar, at the pub with his friends, and he tells his friend, he's like, well, why don't you confront the guy? He's like, yeah, I think I'll do that. So next day he gets up and goes about his chores and goes up and knocks on the guy's door, and no one answers. So he's like, all right, he's probably busy. I'll bother him later or tomorrow. And next day comes, knocks on the door, no one answers. So he decides to crack the door open, looks in. No, it doesn't see anything. Close it. Okay, maybe he's doing something. I'll leave him alone. I'll deal with it tomorrow. So tomorrow comes, and he gets up, starts doing his chores, makes his way up to the room, knocks on the door. No one answers. Cracks it open, looks, and he finally just pushes the door open. Doesn't see anybody. He walks in, goes into the bathroom, goes in the closet. Can't find the guy because there never was a guy. This guy held him to a standard that no one else was held him standard. He was the culprit in his own life, and that's your ego. Their ego doesn't exist other than an imaginary field.
All the money we're trying to make, all the competition
yeah, but who's
we have.
telling we have to do this? So let's put the ego in more a tangible aspect. The ego would be a left part of your brain that collects information. So somewhere along the line, someone said, if you work 40 hours or more a week and you keep your nose to the grindstone, you have what they call good work ethic. And good work ethic, it's good. Look at everyone. Hey, how's it's good, it's good. So then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I want to be on the good side. So I create a good work ethic and I work my ass off. So I'm doing this and nobody knows I'm doing it for and then all of a sudden this guy shows up an hour later. I'm like, that I'm here working my ass off. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with that guy? And he's coming in smiling, really? Like, someone's got to fire that guy. And it's all going on in my head. And then, all of a sudden someone tells me, it's like, you're the only one that works 12 hours. Like, are you kidding me? What's going on? No one has good work ethic anymore. And where did it all come from? I purchased this thing from somebody else, put it in my head, and I ran around with it. There was no one ever there. It's an illusion. So when we quiet or give the left part of the brain something to do, like a task, I walk people through this all the time. I tell them to close their eyes, and I just gently say, put your attention on your right ankle. Bring your attention to your left ankle. Bring your attention to your left elbow. Bring your attention to your right shoulder. Bring your attention to your forehead, right in the middle, where the third eye is. Now slowly drift over to the right side of your brain. Bring your attention there. Notice the pulsations or whatever sensations you feel in your right brain. Now take a breath in. Breathe out. How do you feel?
Great.
Everyone says I feel different. Whether they use an adjective great or good or whatever, it's different. And I said, the only thing I did there is I gave your left brain something to do. It wasn't thinking about, it wasn't all over the place. It was so focused on your ankle, the right, the left, the knee, the shoulder, and all, the brain. So I quieted it down by giving it a task, and it opened up the right hemisphere of the brain. It tapped onto the pineal gland. This is how simple it is. And when you train a dog so well, you can free it by not putting it on its leash. But you don't worry about it ripping up or tearing down the street chasing a car. Again, you have to reassociate this every day. You have to continuously do it because dogs do get distracted. Right? Like, squirrel. Like, now I have to train my dog around the squirrel. You know what I'm saying? Because before there was no squirrel. Okay, that's no big deal. Better have the dog somewhat trained so I can train it not to chase a squirrel. And then, a rabbit comes, motherfuckers. But that's the way life is. So it's not like this end-all thing.
That's exactly it.
It's not an end-all. Like, I don't know when it's going to end. But I know I can go into this place and give my left part of my brain something to do. And all of a sudden, the energy starts to shift. I cross over into the right hemisphere of the brain. And that's how we could look at the crossing of the cross coming in. So it's coming over and shifting into the east side of my brain, which if you're looking north, the right side would be the east side, right? And this is throughout the Bible. This is throughout the Bhagavad Gita. This is all over the place. So, and these stories come from 5,000 years even before the Bible. But now let's not even get into the writings of the Bible or anything else. We have science here telling us this. The left side of our brain knows the language in which you speak. It knows where the right-hand turn is. It knows where the left-hand turn is. They're also where the left side of the brain comes a problem. It also picks up these weird beliefs that we try to hold ourselves to. You got to let those go. Drop those as best you can. Because when we enter into the right side of the brain, this is where the nuance comes. This is where everything is created. Imagination is far greater than knowledge, is what Einstein said. there wouldn't be knowledge unless there was imagination, because everything that is, like the knowledge of this cup, this mug, was once imagined prior to it coming into me gaining the knowledge of it. Mm-hmm. I can now measure it, I can understand it, but prior somebody else had to imagine it, and I don't know who imagined the mug. I have no idea. I guess I can Google it, but it didn't exist prior to somebody imagining it. So the right side of the brain creates everything, the left side of the brain takes it and stores it for later use. But we're storing so much shit in there. We're hoarders in the left brain. We're so hoarding that we don't even need this shit. Let it go. Yeah, I don't get rid of the English language. I can barely use it, but it's there, and there's certain concepts I understand. But when I shift over and quiet this up, I naturally move into the right hemisphere of the brain. Now they're working together. And this is to, look this stuff up. Don't take my word for it. And like when I took you through that little exercise of breathing in and doing all this stuff, you were given this. It was quiet it down, simmering down, simmering down. Then we crossed over, hit the pineal gland, and activated the right. To what degree, we don't know. Mm-hmm. You go into deep meditation, you see more stuff. But you're always going to come out of a deep meditation. But even though you come out of a meditation, that's one experience. You still don't have to have this thing wreaking havoc. And this is where we could be in peace at all times. We can have peace at all times. Peace could be translated to being happy. But there's different levels of happy, like different levels of love. Mm-hmm. Right?
And we've all experienced that before.
Yeah, because it's all, you think about it, we live in a universe, it's all one energy, but there's different degrees of this energy. Mm-hmm. And like we know, like there's no such thing as absolute darkness. But there's a certain degree of light that I need to read a book, right? But like no matter where you go into the depths of the ocean, there's still light. Mm-hmm. There's still energy, and that's what light is to some degree. But yeah, like I can't see my hand in front of my face. So we then work within the field of these degrees of energy, just like there is no absolute cold or absolute heat. But the human body seems to do better around 72 degrees, right? So, because we're roughly 100 degrees. But 100 minus 72 degrees isn't the opposite. It's just a different degree of temperature. So these are just myriads. But yeah, the human existence does so much better. But being a minus 72 degrees, I don't know how long you would last.
It's going to be you pretty soon here at Wim Hof.
But yeah, you go outside like for a second, and you would appreciate the 72-degree weather more than you did a moment ago. Because if it was always, it seems this way. If it's always 72 degrees in the dualistic world, you get bored of it. Mm-hmm. So we like the fluctuation. But people but then people get upset because they don't like the way the fluctuation's going. I'm like, I just know how it's going to go. Like. Yeah.
That's the whole same story we're all telling ourselves. Oh, I want this moment. Will you turn the music down a little bit?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, it's throwing me off. The same thing we experience right now during like Christmas blues, People come off of the Christmas season, and they talk about, I'm sad. I want to see my family. I want to go back, I got to go back to work. And it's like we romanticize these ideas, and it's all in the head.
Do you know there's also a physiology thing too that I just heard someone talk about it. And it's how we look at it too that changes everything. So, the 25th of December when it hits, or Christmas time, the sun, it's the shortest, there's very little light, especially if you're in the northern hemisphere, right? There's very little light that comes in. So most of us are reflecting on a time, like say, take the summer where the sun was out. So more sunlight, we're going to have more serotonin built into our system. It's naturally going to come up. So we're going to feel different. So it's like comparing 9 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock at night to how you feel. Like, why would you do that? So it's not so much the holidays or your family. It's you're still trying to do the same thing physically that you did in August. But there's less energy. So it's more of that. Now, if you understand that, you can actually override that, but it doesn't mean. But if you're trying to keep the same schedule and you're getting less serotonin in your system, well, yeah, you're running on empty.
It's just funny how our world works. We act like There is no change.
We don't follow the natural laws of nature.
No, or the natural calendar.
Cycles.
Yeah.
There's cycles. So you know, bears hibernate in the winter, and other animals slow down. Some come out. It's all different stuff. But human beings, we do have the ability to override these things, but to what end? Right? Are there levels we can get to where you're not pulled in by it? I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. I haven't personally experienced it, but I experience highs all the time. But when I understand, when I get tired, it's something it's telling me something. There might be a belief in that I'm trying to push forward, and like, why am I trying to kill myself this time of year? You know, all that type of stuff. No, I'm not giving you a truth here. I'm giving you a perspective. That's all it is. It's a perspective. But seldom people look at that perspective and they think they're depressed. Well, what is depression? Maybe depression is just saying, like, man, sit on the damn couch and allow yourself to sit there. Right? Because you can't always be running a marathon. Again, that's not truth. That's just my perspective in this moment. But the more perspectives, this is why we have the show, the more perspectives we look at, the more of the buffet we see, the less we have to attach to one thing. And that's the brilliance of it. If there was if I was in a country like, say, India, where there's thousands of different religions, I don't need to attach to anyone to feel inadequate. But if I live in a place where everyone's Christian, and I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm not this. I'm like, what do you mean? Now I have to explain myself. So I'm like, I'm Christian for today.
Yeah, I know, right?
And it's not here to knock any of that. It's what, and again, if everyone on the planet was Christian, there should be, and there's 8 billion people, there should be 8 billion perspectives of the Christian religion. All right? Somebody will tell me I'm hogwash because they want to control the system in which they're in. But there should be 8 billion ways. No one should tell me how I should look at the story of Superman. But everyone can watch Superman. And like, oh, I see it this way. Oh, why? Based on my experiences and based on where I'm at. Come next year, if I talk about the story of Superman, I'll come up with another analogy. It never ends. It never ends. These stories, you know, the story of Superman is the story of Moses. Come on. Like, you know, it's the story of David and Goliath. It's all these stories, you know, the story of Krishna.
Well, that's really what our lives are, too.
Yeah, they're replications.
We're all just the hero's journey.
And the story keeps replicating itself. But when we come to understand it, it's just a story, you then start to go into this other realm where it's like, it doesn't mean you leave the story, but you're not attached to the story anymore. Now it's like, oh, you know, Superman. Well, I could be Lex Luthor today. I could be an antagonist. You know, what the hell? Let's see how good Superman really is. You know? You know? And when you start to not identify, the ego was never a thing. We created this thing called an ego.
The identity.
But really what it is, it's the left part of your brain that pulls in information that's going to, like, I don't have to learn the English language every day, you know? But if I want some nuance, something new, write a new song, I have to go to the right, I have to enter into the right hemisphere of the brain. I have to seat myself at the right hand of the father being the pineal gland. So all of a sudden I get, you know, I'm like, oh, let me play this chord with this chord. Let me play that chord. I'm like, how'd that come up? This lyric, where the hell? I don't know. It didn't come from me. You know, I might play it and put it out there, and some people might love it, some people might hate it. But I can't really say where it came from. But I placed myself there. Just like when I look east every morning, the sun comes up. But I didn't put the damn sun there. I just was willing to look at it. And all of a sudden, it's freeing. Then you go off, and now you're the childlike state. You're unstoppable now. It's not like, oh, what's the sense? No. Your energy level goes through the roof. But now you're doing it not to get somewhere. And I remember having these moments where that would come into my head. I'm like, yeah. And then I go to do something. I'm like, how much money can I make at this? And all of a sudden, the energy just crumble up. I get a pain in my stomach because I'm trying to get something from it. I'm trying to, you know, I'm making a condition of it. But the excitement, in the moment I had the excitement to do it, there wasn't a condition. But now I'm trying to, okay, let's kill 2 birds with one stone. I'm going to make a career out of this. I'm like, stop it. A byproduct of it might be a great career. I'm not saying don't do that. You know, if you're in a job, you don't have to leave the damn job, but stop looking at the job as something that is going to get you something. Look at the job as an experience. I'm like, see what happens today. You come home, like, and it's hey, how was your day? I'm like, all right, what happened? Like, oh, Bill and an accountant. And like, and you start telling the story and shit. Right? You didn't know Bill and accountant was going to do what he did. You know, you didn't. You know, you just came home and told the story. I was like, wow. I was like, oh yeah. You know, is Bill still got a job? You know.
It's funny how that works, and all these situations pop up to mirror us, show us, wake us up. You know, that's what I've realized. I'm walking through the best play ever to exist.
Yeah.
You know, some people liken it to a video game. Sure, you can do that too. However you want to,
Experience it.
Yeah, however you want to experience this. Yeah. But you are player one, you know, in this. And like Ramana Maharshi said, you know, there is no other. You're watching yourself interact with yourself in multiple different roles.
Yeah, exactly. And there are individuals out there, but their perception of what you're doing, because like a great comedian, right, will get on stage and tell a joke, and they only know based on the response of the audience whether to keep going. Mm-hmm. They don't try to force the joke. It's like, oh, they're not getting laughing, let me swing this way.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is a great way to live life. So, you know, you go there and you keep going. I'm like, okay, I can see I'm going to keep going. And guess what? You're going to keep going. At some point, you're going to have to stop it, because then you're like, okay, like, you can't say the joke too many times. But it's kind of this wave, because an audience in a comedy show isn't continuously laughing. It's like waves, right? There's not one continuous wave. Mm-hmm. The ocean's waving continuously, but it never ends. But where am I on the wave? Like, what's my timing in life? And when I'm dancing with life rather than trying to control it, my timing becomes really good. And a great comedian knows the timing. But all great comedians also told you how they fumbled.
Oh yeah,
I love hearing those stories. Like, yeah, you know,
the jokes that flop.
Yeah, and it's like, and you're on stage and you got 20 more minutes on your set. It's like, fuck, someone shoot me now.
But we've all had that flop.
Yeah.
You know? Sure, it might not be
like
on the stage.
Comedian is like that. They're putting themselves out there.
Oh, yeah.
I remember thought about, like, for a brief moment doing it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, that's terrifying, right?
Oh, hell yeah.
And I remember Joe Rogan talked about this. They asked him, like, he's got UFC he does the announcing for. Obviously his podcast. Mm-hmm. And, you know, he's a comedian.
Comedy specials.
Yeah, he's a comedian, right? So
he's had some good specials. I loved his one after COVID. It was hilarious.
But what's interesting is, from my perspective, I think he's more famous or business-wise is his podcast.
Yeah.
Right? Hands down. I think he'll even say that. But someone once asked him, if you had to only choose one, what would it be? He said, the comedian.
Really?
They're like, really? He goes, yeah. You're alive. You're like, there's nowhere to hide. Mm-hmm. And you can tell he lives for the aliveness.
Yeah.
You know? And where he's doing his podcast, it's, you know, he obviously doesn't edit anything and stuff like that. There's a bit of liveness there. When he does the announcement, I don't know if he still does it for UFC or whatever. He does that. But stand-up comedian, you have no idea. Like, you can have a group of people that are just miserable, and they're like, oh, I need someone to make me laugh. I'm like, yeah, this guy's not funny, you know? And another day, you could come in, like, I've said stuff, and people started laughing. I'm like, that wasn't even meant to be funny.
Yeah.
You know? And I was like, oh, but if they're laughing, I'm going to keep going, because, you know, we like to see people laugh. And this is the way, I don't want to say should, but this is a perspective in the way I like to live life, is just go out there and do it and dance with the audience. Stop trying to control it. Like, why didn't you find that joke funny? Is not a good way to end the joke.
I was just going to say, that would be brutal.
Yeah, it would be brutal. What are you, people stupid? You're not laughing out there? Do you not get this shit? And, you know, I've seen comedians say that. What are you, people dumb out there? You don't get this?
Oh, God.
Bill Burr had a situation like that one time.
Did he?
But it turned into be, he's like, well, go fuck yourselves. And all of a sudden he's doing, I think it was in Philadelphia of all places. I believe it was, if I'm getting it wrong, someone correct me. But he's doing this, and he told people to go fuck themselves. Next thing you know, they're cheering him on and doing all this stuff. And all of a sudden they were laughing and they were on his side because he told them to go fuck themselves, right? He's like, go fuck yourself. Next thing you know, the show lifted up and he finished his set and left. Well, the next time he did the show, people was like, no, I'm not going to do that again. That was horrific.
He's like, I hated that.
It was horrible. No, next time it's going to walk off stage. But he was able to turn around because the way they were acting, he pushed back on them, and they appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, and it's like, and that this one time happened. I heard him talk about it. He goes, yeah, it was the most horrible thing in the world. And now they want me to repeat that. I'm like, I'm never doing that again. It was horrible.
Well, think about how many situations we go through in life that, turned out great, but we would never want to go through them ever again.
No, but you learn to spin off of. You don't just die on, you don't just drop the mic and leave the stage.
That's really what I've learned about just life in general. When things are just I never want this. I'm like, all right. Keep going.
But for Bill Burr, it's one of the most talked about concerts he's ever done because it was funny.
Is
because
funny.
You did, it's like they were against him. And next thing you know, they're cheering him on because he's telling them to go fuck themselves. I'm like, that's classic.
That is classic.
Yeah.
Good way to use the field,
it's just like, so...
when you liken it to the energy of the room, and then the pushback to this.
Yeah, it was like
it's a good way to, the alchemist that's within all of us, turning that lead into gold.
At some deeper level, there was a connection with him in the audience. And, the people in Philly, especially you see this in the Northeast, there's a little more like grit.
Yeah, totally.
No, I'm still part of the 13 colonies. No one's taking us down. You know what I'm saying? And there's that type of attitude. I mean, you come and meet that attitude, like, okay, he's one of us. Yeah, he's one of us. He's staying.
You're approved.
Yeah, you're approved. So there's like this tug of war, and like enemies on a battlefield that finish the battle alive actually respect themselves more than anything else.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, you can't deny
there's
it.
like a certain level of respect.
Well, you see it in boxing, like I boxed a good portion of my life when I was younger, but after the end of a fight that was really close with somebody, you had this weird thing where you came and hugged them.
Mutual respect.
Yeah, it was like weird. Like if it was a really close fight, it was that way.
Mm-hmm. I can see that.
But I fought people that didn't come to fight, and it was kind of just came up and tapped them next time. But the guy that gave me the run, whether I won or lost, it was the close. Like it was that close. Like I kept him, he kept me, and there was some at the end of it. You just let go of it. There was no animosity. It was quite the opposite.
See, that's cool.
Yeah, it's how you. Yeah, it's something interesting about that,
Mm-hmm.
But it's all this energy we're tapping into, and all Mike and I are doing. It's what we're doing here. We're talking about different perspectives of how to look at life. We're not saying this is the only way to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to be like some religion to say you have to look at it this way. And I don't even knock those. I'm telling people, if you belong to something, don't leave it. Just don't shackle yourself to it. Come and go. Free yourself from it. When you unleash your dog and train it, it will never leave you. It'll always be up, But it's the paradox of if it leaves, it was meant to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you're caging it, and the thing's going to turn on you. It's going to hit you. One day it will bite you, kill you. And that's what our left mind does. The left part of our brain takes over, and it only makes up about 10% of the function of the brain when it comes from information.
Yeah.
The right side is the 90%.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I believe
the most comes from the right side, the least side that we utilize.
And this is where the idea of tithing came from what I understand.
Mm-hmm.
So you tithe 10%. And what they're meaning is when you tithe, give over the left part of the brain to the right side of the brain.
That's where the magic happens.
Yeah, it wasn't the Catholic Church that wanted 10% of your money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or whatever church. They all do it.
I remember someone like, I give till it hurts. I'm like, why would you give till it hurts? I'm like, if you give money to somebody, I don't give a shit if it's a church or not. You're giving out of inspiration. Like if you go to church and they make you feel good there, yeah, pay it. Like when I go to a Rolling Stones concert, I pay them to make me feel good. But they're not giving me everlasting life. Mick Jagger's not guaranteeing me, hey, come and give me 10% of your money and I'll make sure you like.
Do you see that church in Mexico selling land in heaven? For actual
selling
money.
land in heaven.
Yeah.
Right on.
Actually selling lots in heaven. Like for monetary.
As a real estate agent, is that
is that legit?
Yeah,
that is so not legit.
Yeah.
It is makes me laugh.
Mike, but the best thing about that is who's the person who bought the first lot?
I know, right?
That's what I like to know. I
want to talk
to that guy. Like, yeah,
are these the postage
lots? Yeah.
How big are these lots?
Yeah,
That'll be my first question.
Ocean front? What the hell?
Exactly.
Like What does that lot look like?
But when I heard that, I was like, oh my God, man. Like, anything people can use for a way to
You
control.
know what's funny? They
and get
probably
it,
like, we don't have any other land to sell. I'm like, let's sell heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's sell heaven. Okay.
That's
How do you propose we do that?
That's exactly
Don't worry.
Yeah, I know.
I got a cuss that's a really good salesperson.
Literally.
He could sell a snow.
Yeah, snow to a whatever.
An Eskimo.
An Eskimo.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is. I just laugh when I hear stuff like that.
Yeah.
I got tickets to Abraham and Esther Hicks.
Oh,
Yeah, Esther Hicks. I'm going to see Abraham this Saturday.
Oh, it's this Saturday.
This Saturday.
Oh, because she. I think she comes here twice a year.
Does she twice a year?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Because I've seen her before.
We're seeing her in a big like in a hotel like reception room or whatever.
Yeah. So I think she has like this same schedule almost every year. She goes to different
hilarious.
places. Yeah, because it's almost she could.
I've never been, so this will be my first in person. I mean, I've listened to tons of Abraham
it's
and
interesting.
Esther.
Yeah. You should, depending on where it's at, the crowd probably is not going to be as big as when you went to Bashar.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a pretty big. Like
Bashar was a big crowd.
Like 750 people. With it.
Yep.
Usually. But I don't know. Her audience might have grown in these things. I think she does it enough to where it keeps the audiences.
It's just cool because it's everything that we talk about, and I love it because it's like when you go into these environments, it's like you're walking into the field and you can feel it. It's like going to a comedy show.
Yeah,
that's what made me think of it. Was everybody goes with that intention to laugh and have a good time, and. Same thing on this front, or like Bashar, everybody's there like, hey, we're all in this together,
Yeah, and when you go there, like, refrain from trying to get something out of it.
Oh yeah,
you will get something out of it, but trying to like, I want to get this out of it, but you don't get that out of it, but you miss out on the thing you ought to get out of it, type of thing. Well, you may get nothing out of it other than you met a couple of people, which is getting something out of it.
I'll get some footage. We'll throw it up on Perspective Shift.
Yeah.
That would be good. We should do another Abraham episode too.
Oh, we should. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
She's got some great content, and
if you get
tried and proven techniques.
Yeah. If you get a earshot of her, tell her, hey, come on.
Hey, we need to get you on Perspective Shift.
Yeah, we get on Perspective Shift.
Literally.
Yeah.
It's funny. I don't know how close I'll be if I walk by her, or what. I don't think Jerry's still around, right? Didn't Jerry pass?
Died. Yeah, he passed several years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be her, doing her thing.
Yep.
I just love it because the people that will be there, the vibe all around it. It's a great way to kick off the new year. Like, that was a great gift.
You know what I find that's interesting? Every time I go to something like that now, you realize people ask very unique questions. Like, there's always going to be the everyday question, like, how do I make more money? Type of thing. But some people have really unique questions.
I love that.
I'm like, I would never thought of asking that damn question. That's why I go to these things.
Yeah.
I just sit back and relax now when I watch it. But, it's cool.
I love that. I know what you mean. Like, Muji was a big guy for me. Like, when I was currently, I still listen to Muji, but like early on, I learned so much from the conversations of people going up and earnestly asking Muji these different questions about life, consciousness, pain, suffering. And I always heard questions that I needed to hear.
Yeah.
So I know I'm going to hear a question, or I should say questions that I need to hear when I'm at this,
But you didn't even
Esther
know about
event, or Abraham, I should say.
Yeah. And that's it. So you're drawn to it, and you're drawn to it to different ways, and see what comes of it.
Yep.
But yeah, just go
So
in. Yeah.
I think that's going to be fun and exciting. I'm looking forward to that this year. There's a lot of great things I'm looking forward to this year.
Yeah.
And it's like 2026 feels different than 2025 felt. Just like 25 felt different than 24. And that's what I've realized is it's like this never-ending DNA spiral, of experience.
Yeah.
There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, there's going to be sad parts, there's going to be really happy parts. This pendulum is always swinging. And forever I've like, no, the pendulum just has to stay here.
Yeah.
Then I'll be happy. Then I'll be good.
There's something that we can do here, though, that when you look at the mechanism of a pendulum, so if you take something like this and the pendulum's down here, it's swinging. So when you're further down the pendulum, you're experiencing the eradication or the major movement. But if I'm here on the pendulum,
Beautiful.
so as we rise higher, the movement of the pendulum has less effect on us in the outside world. So when you're down here, it's scary as hell because you're all the way here. But this hand here, so what would be my left hand is experiencing the movement. My right hand is actually holding the pendulum and staying steady. So that's the mechanic and the physics behind it. So it's not about having to go through another cycle. As we move up the arm of the pendulum, we get less. Now what's cool is I can choose to go down to the bottom because I enjoy the thrill. Now it's a choice, but I know how to get back up. Because this, after a while, will get boring, right? So I come in.
Or you just naturally...
Yeah,
you know,
but here, like without knowing, I was stuck here, and it was like, and this doesn't get boring. This is going to make you throw up.
Yeah,
right?
that's the
like it
fight
makes
or
you
flight.
pass
That's
out.
the
But up here, it's like this is peace and relaxation. But now I can choose to go down here, but I know how to go right up. I can get there. So the fear of going down into the basement, the fear, there is no more fear. Depression no longer is depression; it's compression. It's a moment where I kick my feet up and just relax. So when, like I talked about the comedian, the audience responds to the comedian based off what the comedian's talking about. And then the comedian is reading the audience. If he's reading it properly, they have this beautiful ebb and flow. That's where our emotions are. Our emotions are indicators of where we are on the pendulum. That's it. They're not our enemy. They're telling us something. Oh, wow, oh my God. I'm like, do you want to be here? No, I want to be. Okay, go up to that emotion. Let it pass on through. Don't stop it because you can't. Just naturally drift up, you know. Then you're hanging out. I'm like, hey, I want to go feel something. Like slide down the pendulum. But you know how to get up and down the pendulum. So our emotions are nothing but indicators of where we are with our rhythm, with our thinking, with our thoughts, I should say, not our thinking.
And then we tie stories to the emotion.
Yeah, and then we think we're stuck on this part of the pendulum that's way down at the bottom that's making us dizzy and pass out. Like there's no way out. But we pass out, we end up letting go and floating up to the top, and they're like, oh my God, that was crazy. I never want to do that again. Shoop, right down to the bottom.
God damn it.
Yeah. So then you go to a seminar and they teach you how to stay at the top of the pendulum, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
For $10,000.
I will sell you a plot of land at the top of the pendulum.
At the top of the pendulum. For $9.99 payment.
That's it. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And there's HOA fees, by the way. So just to stay there.
Literally.
Yeah.
It's funny how that works. It's just there's something lighter about this year, which is great. I feel like 2025 for a lot of us, was there's a lot. There's a lot of emotion, a lot of stuff going on. A lot of energy we're working through. It's the year of the snake, a lot of shedding of old things.
The shedding too, but the snake also represents the spinal column.
The serpent.
It's the kundalini coming up.
Yeah.
So as the energy moves up our spinal column from a sacrum all the way up to the top, to the pineal gland, it starts to activate pineal gland and enters us into the right hemisphere brain. So there's a multitude of ways of looking at the serpent. One isn't better than the other. It's the context in which you use it. So that's really, it's the energy. You see it in medical stuff. It's the serpent going around. Yeah. So it's the signature of life, of moving up.
I like that.
So, but the shedding of the skin is another great analogy of the serpent, right? Because it's shedding the skin, you're letting go, coming anew. So there's, like, the thing that Mike and I always trying to come home with, like, we're offering up a perspective, but not an individual single truth.
Exactly.
Because, there are only 5 empirical truths as we see it. And we learned this from Mishar. You could subsect it or whatever. And anyone who has listened to the show, it's we exist. Contemplate that. Don't take our word for it. The second one is now is the only time. All right? Look into that. Don't take my word for it. The third one is the one is the all are the one. In other words, we all come from the same source, but we're individuated experiences in that same source. Just like the sun, say the sun, argument's sake, emits 8 billion rays. Each 8 billion rays is hitting the planet differently. But when each 8 billion ray came from one source called the sun. So the one are the all are. The one is the all are the one. All right. And then the fourth law is what you put out is what you get back. What energy you're coming into this, I could say this is going to be a great year, but I want you to feel it's going to be a great year, and therefore it will be a great year, regardless of what happens. All right. And then why we don't hold on to anything and try to align with something too tightly or at all is because the fifth one is change is the only constant, except for the first four items I just listed. They don't change. Everything else becomes, in Hermetics, they call it a half-truth. Mm-hmm. In other places, Einstein would say it's a relative truth. Mm-hmm. We're not saying it's not true, but it's not, where's the empirical truth about it? So what Mike and I are talking about is relative truths from perspectives.
All truths are true.
All truths are true.
That's the biggest thing. When that clicks, it really changes the dynamic of how you experience and look at life.
Yeah.
You start to realize, oh my God, it's only because I've said, why does this always happen to me? Or this, of course this would. You start to see, oh my goodness, I have literally been casting these spells on myself this entire time. I've been viewing this life through this very narrow negative lens and expecting life to, smile back at me.
Yeah, and spells are good if it's moving in the direction in which you're being pulled.
Absolutely.
But if you're driving a car at 100 miles an hour and you keep looking in the rearview mirror, I can tell you right now it's not going to be a pleasant drive.
No.
So choose your perspective, move in that direction, commit to it for the moment in which you're in, but don't hold on to it too tightly. And just keep moving down and see what happens. Just do it for the experience of why we came here. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, you'll have a magnificent story. Yeah. Guarantee it.
One thing I'm doing this year too is I've already started each day. I've been waking up and I've been journaling what I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
I don't care if that's 3 things, 5 things, 8 things, 10 things, just a few things. First thing, after I stretch, after I do my breathing, after I do a meditation, write down what I'm grateful for. Yeah. And then I just get in the shower, start my day.
Yeah.
You do that for 21 days. See how much you've rewired your brain.
Yeah, and I like the way you said that because people think I have to do this for the rest of my life. It's overwhelming. No, you don't. If years of me meditating, I seldom meditate anymore. Why? Because I know the state I can get into it. Mm-hmm. There are days that get ahead of me. I'm like, I'm going to take a little time to myself, and I'm going to go meditate, and I'll do that. But, even when we do breath work right now, just knowing I hit the button to press play, my system gets into the play. Mm-hmm. But I go through the physical experience of it. But something already triggers in me because it's already familiar with this place. It's like when you go to eat something, you start to salivate. You haven't even eaten it yet. Mm-hmm. But there's pizza right there. I know it. I'm like, come on. And I'm not going to eat it. It's not going to taste like a hamburger. I know it's going to happen. But all of a sudden, this response is happening right away.
It's funny how our bodies do that.
Yeah. But you're always going to have to some degree, retraining something. But don't do it to make yourself better because you can't make yourself better. That's a false narrative. That's my perspective. If someone else can say you're full of shit. But I get away from belief. I know what I know, and there's a lot I don't know. But when I go to do these things, they're just experiences. But there's something in me that's been in every experience. It was when my ego was inflated when I was younger, and when I was very defensive. And there's something in me that's experiencing me sitting here talking to Mike through a mic, and that never changes.
And it has never changed.
That is the screen to the movie. Mm-hmm.
Who is witnessing? Yeah. Who is observing? And
when you go there seems to be this comfort thing. It's like, everything else is just an act. It's just a stage, it's a play. But by all means, do it. That's why we came here. We didn't come here to win the Academy Award, but we might. When you just fully develop in it, you don't worry about winning the Academy Award. The paradox is you most likely will, and if you don't, who cares? There's a lot of actors out there. People are like, how come that person never won the Academy Award? How come that band hasn't made it into Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Like the fact that you're saying that they don't need to, because they left an impact, right? They don't need some damn award. I believe, again, this is my belief, that when they have awards, only the people in the industry should be there. I don't invite people. I don't like, I'm going to videotape the award show at my salon and let everyone, like, who gives a shit? Because it's a distraction. Like, I want to be like them. I'm like, no, I want to be like me. That why I came here. And who are you? I'm like, well, I don't know yet. Well, I know who I am, but it's a continuum. It doesn't end. The
Which
experience.
me? Yeah.
Yeah, there is no me. It's an I, right? And this I is having these multitude of experiences. But somewhere along, a me came in and said, it must happen this way. And then all hell went, everything went to hell. And I'm like, where did this come from? So I got this voice in my head that's saying, shh. The other one's like, hey, what are you doing today? What are you doing over there? You should be doing this. Everyone else is doing this. Why aren't you doing this? And the other one's going, shh.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Be still and know that you are God.
Yep.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
As we head into this
and I like to say, you said you because it's I am, but I am is you. Because like you refer to someone like, who are you? Like I am that thing in which you're pointing to. But people are like, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, that's really how it's playing out.
It's like that Rumi quote I was telling you about. We wander from room to room looking for that diamond necklace that's been around our neck the entire time.
Yeah.
And that's true.
It's a story of the old man, the servant, trying to look for his master, who is working him endlessly to no end, and the master never existed. So he was doing it to himself.
So what do all these analogies, what are all these stories, what are all these, allegory, what are they all telling us?
Yeah.
They're telling us, guys, that you are everything that you always have wanted to be.
Yeah.
There's nothing you have to do. There's nothing outside of you that needs to be done.
But by God, do it.
Only thing is to recognize.
Yeah.
Is literally to embrace this knowing of I am safe. Watch what happens to your nervous system when you tell yourself you're safe.
Yep.
Watch how you let your muscles start to loosen up. Your shoulders get a little less tight. Your jaw isn't as clenched. Your tongue's not on the roof of your mouth. Like all these different little things that we don't even notice. We are always staying in this fight or flight. And the moment you get out of that, that's when miracles happen. That's when you start interacting with this space and you go, oh, this isn't as real as I thought it was.
And what is a miracle?
Everything.
A miracle is nature not experienced yet by the individual that claims it to be a miracle.
Yeah.
Because, open heart surgery 200 years ago would have been a miracle.
Yeah.
They would have burnt the guy at the stake or the woman at the stake, whoever performed it. But yet their loved one's still alive. Now it's like, come on in. I'll have you out by noon.
Yeah, exactly. Literally, though.
Yeah. So it's no longer considered a miracle. It's considered nature and how we do things. So what we consider to be miracles is nature unexperienced by the individual that's calling a miracle. I'm like, there's so much of nature we don't understand or have experienced yet. But the more we open up and let go of this, we float to a higher level, or a greater level, I should say. And all of a sudden, these nuances of experience come in. It never ends. It never ends. The
That's
idea
the
that
fun
it
part.
ends, you just, a song will end, but a new song begins. A dance will end, but a new dance begins. A chapter will end, but the book isn't over. And then there's a whole series of books, and there's a whole other books, and never ends.
That's exactly it.
Things do cycle in and out. So we look at, the year is coming to an end on the 21st. Right? And then the sun goes down and redoes its thing and enters into the sky again on the 25th, starts new. Those things we could hold our logic to. But there's our safety, right? There's something to hold on to.
It's going to be a great year. We appreciate everyone who's tuning in, listening. This is going to be a great year for Perspective Shift. We got a lot of cool stuff planned this year. We got Christopher Blackwell coming back with us next week. We're going to be doing those events with him, every second Wednesday of the month. So we'll see you guys for a live event there. We've got some great guests planned for this year that we'll tell you about as we start to book them and get them on the show. And we want to wish you guys an awesome 26 and It's going to be a great year.
Yeah, just keep that perspective open.
That's exactly it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you next week.
Much love and peace out.